All right, guys, here we go. We had a smug competition. We had an arrogant off between Bill Maher and Sam Harris. They're going to do a podcast here. This is Sam Harris's podcast. They're going to jack each other off and talk about how brilliant they both are. And you'll never guess what issue comes up and who they start bashing. But let's dive into it and we'll break it down.
Really slumming up your podcast as
Well,
a mere Bachelor of Arts degree and a comedian, and
as we have seen, the eggheads are being miseducated at this point. The new batch of eggheads are going to be quite something.
not the ones you have on though. They're always good people.
Yeah.
Except that Rory guy.
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah. Well, he is an incredibly impressive person, but he's quite miseducated on this particular point.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's really well.
Isn't that a conundrum in life that we all think about all the time? How can someone be so smart on one thing and not get it so much on another? And they're thinking about us the same way about certain issues.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about this because a lot of this relates of late to what's happened post October 7th, and just we see this great fracturing of public opinion. But strangely, I've noticed that many people in your line of work, people in Hollywood, even some very famous people who agree with us about how the moral landscape looks, are terrified to say anything. And the people on the other side are not terrified. There are A-list celebrities who are not terrified to be mistaken for Hamas supporters. But anyone defending Israel.
I know.
Oh my God. Yeah, Sam. That's what's going on in this country. There's a real lack of support for Israel, right? There's a real lack. It's not like people have done literal quantitative analyses on the media coverage of this and found very clearly that there's emotive, very clear, hyperbolic language used when talking about crimes committed against Israelis. And there's very passive voice, passive language, dry language used to discuss crimes done against Palestinians. We've seen this. The Intercept did a whole freaking breakdown of it. When it's horrific, it's a slaughter, it's an atrocity, it's terrorism. That's only used against when it's against Israelis. When it's against Palestinians, a bomb exploded. Really? Whose bomb was it? Where was it aimed? So I don't know what he's talking about. So the media has been horrible in how biased they are in favor of Israel and against Palestinians. And polite society, are you kidding me? In terms of celebrities and figures like that, it's certainly a minority percentage that has spoken up in favor of Palestinians. And by the way, the only reason they're doing it is because Israel's carpet bombing babies and the child death toll is over 15,000, right? Oh my God. And of course they do the classic, they're not afraid to be called Hamas supporters. Again, the same people who always talk about, you need to steel man your opponent, don't straw man your opponent. And then they immediately go to anybody who's against Israel murdering Palestinian civilians, Hamas supporter. I can't. It's just so disingenuous.
Strangely, I've noticed that many people in your line of work, people in Hollywood, even some very famous people who agree with us about how the moral landscape looks, are terrified to say anything. And the people on the other side are not terrified. There are A-list celebrities who are not terrified to be mistaken for Hamas supporters. But anyone defending Israel.
I know.
But can you explain, how is it, if the Jews control Hollywood, how is it that it is so terrifying to state the obvious? There's a difference between a death cult and a group of people, however ineptly is attempting to defend itself against a death cult.
The way Sam Harris frames this is infuriating. Oh, Israel is just being defensive and they're trying to defeat a death cult who's genocidal against them. And why are people so morally confused about this? Oh, I don't know, Sam. Maybe because the death toll on the Israeli side is about 1,200 people. The civilian, military breakdown is maybe 60-40 or 50-50 thereabouts, right? And here's the death toll on the Palestinian side. 45,223 killed. Of them, 41,131 are civilians. 15,620 children, 10,173 women, 86,000 injured, 146 journalists murdered, 1.7 million Palestinians displaced out of 2.3 million. It's almost the entire thing. The entire region is displaced. Nearly 142,000 homes have been completely destroyed by Israel's carpet bombing. 312,000 homes have been partially destroyed. Do I even need to go on with this? 696 mosques have been attacked. Over 1,000 healthcare professionals have been attacked, and nearly 500 of them have been killed. Israel's attacked 31 hospitals. It's one thing for somebody to disagree with my perspective on this or your perspective on this. That's one thing. It's another thing to pretend to be all flabbergasted and amazed and shocked. Huh, why would anybody be defending the Palestinians? I don't understand for the life of me. And by the way, these are also guys who bemoan tribalism, and look at how they discuss this topic. People are on the wrong side of this issue. You know what my side is? I'm against killing innocent civilians. I was against it when Hamas did it. I'm against it when the IDF does it. I can't say the same about them. Oh, wow, one side's a death cult. The other side is enlightened human values. Oh my God, man. I can't deal with these people. I feel so dumb for ever thinking either one of them may have been intelligent.
How is it that it is so terrifying to state the obvious? There's a difference between a death cult and a group of people, however ineptly is attempting to defend itself against a death cult.
Ineptly defending itself. Over, 90% civilian death rate? They're just trying to defend themselves. Doing a total siege, no food, no fuel, no water, no electricity, people starving to death. They're just trying to defend themselves against that very violent toddler.
Oh, I will answer your question. But did I interrupt your introduction? Did we never get to where you were? Did I cut you off for some people love Gaza? Okay, well, I mean, there's so much to this answer, as I think we both agree. The mouth of the river is what I've always called it, of the insanity that flows down from the left side of the spectrum is colleges, universities. Somehow they became huge asshole factories.
Yeah, colleges are the asshole factories. It's not you and your show. It's not you that is the asshole factory. One man asshole factory. Yeah, colleges made people care about like genocide and carpet bombing children. So stupid, so dumb.
They teach, I guess, postmodernism. Have you ever read that book? Or maybe
oh my
you had
God.
The authors on called Cynical Theories.
Oh my God, he's trying to be like Jordan Peterson. Oh, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen. You know, the problem with kids being against genocide is that, you know, colleges are teaching like postmodernism, and this is like a postmodern philosophy that like assassinating babies is bad. So there's the answer. Stop trying to do a cheap ass Jordan Peterson impression. By the way, his moment in the sun was like 4 fucking years ago. Homie peaked. He's on the downswing. He's embarrassing. What are you doing? What are you doing? You missed the wave. I know you're trend jacking right now, but you missed it. You missed it. You're way past the peak of this. Your whole little like, bro, I'm a classic liberal, but the conservatives are actually right about a lot of stuff, bro. Let's talk about those all day, every day, and bash wokeness and bash pro-Palestine people.
Yeah, I know.
You're aware of it. It's
James
sort of,
Lindsay and
yes.
Pluckrose, yeah.
Have you read it? Do you have an opinion of it? It's sort of, if people don't know, it's sort of a dissection of where this kind of crazy, what we think of, and I think we're, old school liberals basically, but what we think of as the nuttiness on the left.
Old school liberals defending genocide, defending carpet bombing babies, defending starving an entire population, defending kids needing to have legs and arms amputated without any anesthesia, defending bombing 31 hospitals, defending attacking standalone UN buildings, defending calling the UN Hamas. Yeah, a real old school liberal position here, Bill.
No, it's sort of a dissection of where this kind of crazy, what we think of, and I think we're, old school liberals basically, but what we think of as the nuttiness on the left, the origins of it. And it's very detailed and arcane. And I don't think we can reproduce it here, but it's basically started in the 70s in France, ideas about postmodernism that found their way into American universities. And just the term postmodernism, I always felt was crazy because don't you want to be modern? What's after modern?
Yeah, right.
Nutty.
I've never heard anybody so glibly try to interact with philosophy than this right here. Never in my life. He's now mentioned postmodernism like 5 times. We don't have a definition. We don't have even a vague explanation. We just have, modern is good, okay. What's after modern? I say not good, okay. It started in France in the 1970s. I totally did not just steal this point from Jordan Peterson and say it to try to look smart, even though I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, okay. Modern good, postmodern bad. Do you all understand?
But this sort of encapsulates the answer to your question is, how could the people who control Hollywood be on the side that's against the Jews? Because everything, once you go past modern, you're sort of back at your own ass again,
right?
With your head up it.
Yeah.
I'm literally at a loss for words. First of all, the idea that Hollywood is anti-Israel. Hilarious. Second of all, framing it as people who are pro-Palestine being, quote, against the Jews. It's against Zionists. Oh my God. A lot of them are Jewish who are against the Zionists. Oh my God. Bill Maher is just a total hack now. Oh my God. He's just trying to do his little Jordan Peterson shtick. That's where he's at. He's bringing up postmodernism. Oh my God. How much you want to bet he hasn't read a single book on postmodernism? How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet? Anyway, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had to cut this podcast off early because at a certain point I got so furious. I was like, I can't listen to any more of this. I'm just going to play the part that was driving me crazy for you guys and react to it. But I'm sure the whole thing is just fucking hand jobs all around to each other. Oh, Enlightenment values. Oh, yeah, Enlightenment values. Oh, we're so smart, old school liberals, bro. Oh, old school liberals, bro. That's like I'm sure it's the whole fucking thing, right? Aren't we so smart? And isn't everybody else so dumb? Okay. That's Bill Maher's entire existence at this point. It is so stale. It is so tired. It is so pathetic. I can't handle it anymore. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.